What's going on, everybody? So subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and we're making another video today, maybe about non-duality, meditation. You could even say religion, biblical, and finally, last but not least, I was gonna say spirituality. You could also say astrology, and pretty much meaning to life. Yes, it's that deep. And so, what's up? No, it's fine. Were you about to do something?
No, I thought I heard Price on here. I just want to tell him that dude's definitely home because his lights is on now.
Yeah.
That's all. Okay, did you put your package back up front?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, sorry for the interruption. The stillness is actually everything. And so a lot of people are stuck because there's two ways of being, and usually you got to find a balance, but people aren't going to be necessarily centralized in this. And it's kind of like the yin and yang, the black and white. And if you ever seen them, such as boy and female, there's no in between sexes. There's either male or female. There's nothing else, because that's the great divide, the feminine and the masculine. And you actually have both inside of you. And then there's the sun, there's the moon, there's ups, there's downs, there's heaven, there's hell, and it's pretty much, there's light and dark. It's pretty much endless. But what we're not taught, or what we're kept, unless you're freaking, for most of us, they try to hide this from us actually, and they want us to do, they want us to think, and sometimes silence is the answer. Because when you sit in silence, you'll start to realize, like, some people talk too much, some people arguably talk too little, and your voice is just a vibration. So people that tend to talk a lot don't really tend to mean what they say. Their words are really loose, and there's not really a strong need to them. When someone talks all the time, you don't want to hear them talk, because it sounds like it's pointless. It doesn't have resonance. It's not strong. I can't find the word for it. But when you sit in silence, there's a certain meditation called Vinpanessa or Vanessa, I don't know, but it's like a retreat, and what you do is you don't speak and you just sit in silence. But you don't have to go on a retreat or anything, and you can still speak. But if you sit in silence sometimes, you'll see that there'll be less disturbances. Then you can watch your mind, your emotions, and analyze how you really feel. Are you feeling anything at all? Who is feeling this? And so forth. Because some people, when they do all the time, they talk, they don't know about this other side where there's no thoughts, and they're just there and alive. And you don't have to talk for that. And you might get creative out of this. Creativeness. Also, you could get intuition. And sometimes it feels good, because there's also, music is not just notes. It's actually the blank space between that, with no sound. So it goes both ways, and you usually don't notice the space, or the no sound, basically, the breath, and everything's basically notes and music, because everything is actually a vibration. You just can't see it all the time. And that's what I'm just asking or saying, is just sometimes just sit with this stillness. You don't always have to say something. In fact, when you control what you say and not blah 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 and just be all over the place, you'll see a different side of you. And that's how you actually you could get in touch with the soul. You don't have to go and retreat, and you don't have to not talk for days or anything like that, but just sitting in silence, because I like both. I like both. Sometimes I like listening to music, and sometimes I don't want to listen to any music at all. But I could listen to music all day, or I could not listen to music at all. But it's best to experience both sides, and that's where I'm getting with this. Because again, when you're not really, because there's music all the time, again, there's always a sound, there's always some resonance, and you'll hear it. Sometimes you'll hear like other frequencies, like high-pitched frequencies from refrigerator, units running, electricity, and then there's also the birds chirping, and you don't need to talk for that. The crickets, the locusts, so many other sounds basically, and it doesn't even matter the sound necessarily, but as long as you're not making sound for a little bit, and this can really, give you a deeper meditation, speed up your spirituality, and make you feel more. So, and just make you feel different and feel better, because you're not always talking. And you'll realize, like, hey, I don't need to talk all the time, and some of the stuff I say is just pointless. Yeah, so again, one more time, there's just being there, and then there's doing. And a lot of people are caught up in the doing side. They just want to do something, because there's always going to be both, and then there's just the extreme. But a lot of people are just on the extreme of doing, and they don't even realize it because they've never had this silence. Once you maybe sit in silence, this is just one way, but it's pretty much the way. There's so many ways, but this will cultivate, the stillness in you. When you sit in silence, you'll recognize the stillness. You don't got to pay attention to anything, or you could pay attention to focus on one singular thing, or you could pay attention to everything. Yeah. It's just basically that. And there's also nothing to think about either. You'll just sit there and you can focus on one thing. You could just look around. And yeah, that's basically it for the video. So a lot of people are extreme on one side, which is the doing, because they're not really taught to just be and let things go. And you can also let things go as you're not speaking, and just see things for as they are. And there's certain places where there's probably more of one individual than another, a collective, because everyone wants to do, think all the time, just about a bunch of stuff that's usually useless or a repetitive thing going on, thinking all the time. And thinking actually takes energy too. So if you step away from that and watch your thinking, your thoughts will die down, and you won't be anxious as much. You'll have more energy, because and this is one of the biggest things, is because you won't be wasting energy focusing on your thoughts. You can just focus on what's outside, and that actually gives you energy, believe it or not, and makes you very restful too. And then you become more conscious and aware. It could make you more conscious and aware of what's going on. And maybe you'll analyze other things, and again, creativity will boost, yada yada yada. And that's all. Subscribe to the channel.